Hi guys, in this particular tutorial I'll be teaching you how you can make a pictorial logo. Remember, in the last two class we talked about types of logo and meaning of logo, where we discussed the seven different types of logo. And in our last class we talked about how to make a monogram logo, which is the combination of um, typographies and a stylish typography. So this time around we are going to be talking about pictorial logo, and you can remember what we talked about. Pictorial logo is made up of image. Pictorial logo explains the word exactly. Like, so in this particular tutorial we're teaching you how we can make a particular pictorial logo. So you know, the first thing we are going to do is to create a page where we'll be designing the pictorial logo. So first of all, you press Ctrl N. If you want to create a page, press Ctrl N, or you go to your file, go to new, and this page will pop out. So what I'm going to do now is that I'll use the size I'm going to use is 4 by 5. 4 by 5 should be okay for me. So resolution 300. So this is the page I'll be making the pictorial logo. So let's get started. Let's not waste much of our time. So this time around I'll be using pen tool. I'll be using pen tool to draw anything I'm going to draw here. So what I'm going to do now is I will click on my pen tool. I'll select my pen tool. Then this time around I guess I'll have to make use of grid so that all my drawings will be aligned properly. So I go to view, I click on view, I click on show, then click on show grid. And as you can see, I have my grid now. The main purpose of me making use of this grid is so that I'll be seeing the straight lines that I'll be using. So this time around, what I'm gonna do is that I'll start by using my pencil to draw. So what I have to do here, I'll start here, this point, then I click on this one too, I bend. Then for me to, as you can see, this perpendicular line, I'll have to cut it off so I can continue, so that this perpendicular line will not have effect on the next line I'm going to create. So I'll hold my Alt key, then click at this center spot so that I can cut it off. Then I click. As you can see, I've removed the one of the perpendicular line. So next thing I'm going to do is I click this edge. I want to make a TV logo. Then I click this edge. Then I come to this point. I click again. I drag. You understand? So this time around, I'll have to cut off this hand. Then I hold my Alt key. Once I hold my Alt key and click at this center, this perpendicular line now will cut off. So I hold my Alt key, then I click. And the next thing I'm going to do is I come down here. Here should be okay for me. Then I click at this spot. I do as if I want to bend it in small. Then I cut it off by holding my Alt key. Yeah. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is I come to this point. I bend. Look at the shape I'm making. So I cut it off. Then I come to this point too. Make sure you are using your grid so that you know the measurement of what you are doing. So please avoid any noise you are hearing from the background. I'm not in a quiet environment, so there's a lot of distraction. So let's continue. You click at this point. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'll come to this point again, because it's a TV. I want to draw a TV. So I click here. I cut it off. Then I'll come to this side. I click again, then I have to push this shape, then I have to push it in small, then I click. As you can see, I've joined the two lines. So what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to be adding any color, creating any solid color with this shape. What I'm going to do is I will make a stroke line, because I'm dealing with drawing, not part, not a shape. So I'll create a part here. So what I'm going to do now is that I create an empty layer. You understand? I create an empty layer where I'll be adding the stroke. Then I come back inside here, right click on stroke path. Then once I click on stroke path, I select brush. As you can see, it has automatically added a stroke for me. Then I click enter for me to remove it. Let me remove my grid. Look at the shape I made. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I will have to continue with my drawing. So now I will bring this meter row here, because I want to mark out a place that I want to divide this shape into two, so that I will not draw anything in it. So let me say this point is okay for me. So here will be empty for now. I'll be making use of here for the drawing. So the next thing I'm gonna do again is I can come and first of all I can come and duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl J. Then I'll carry one down. Then I'll carry one down. Then I'll right click and I'll select something like wrap. I'll be able to bring out this shape out, because this time around I don't want it to be bent. Then I click here. So this is the shape out. Then I mark this good, or I press enter. This is the shape I'll be working on. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is I will have to create something like TV button, this particular size. So what I'm gonna do is I use this rectangular marquee tool. Then I come here, I make out a shape. It's a mistake. Let me go back. So what I want to do is I'll make out a shape in this form with this rectangular marquee tool. So once I've drawn out a shape in this form, the next thing I'm going to do is I will add a stroke. I will create a different layer. I will add a stroke. So this stroke now, I'm gonna make it something like, I want it to be thin. So I'm gonna make it 4, or let me say 3 is okay for me. Then I click OK. 3 is even too big. So what I'm gonna do is that I will use one stroke. I will use 1. Then I click OK. As you can see, the line is very thin. Then I have to deselect. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll use this effect stroke like this one to make it to be smoother, because I don't want it to be. So I guess it's okay for me like this. Then I click OK. So I reduce the size. I go up, I push it up with my arrow key. And then I mark good. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I will just take a look. I'll I want to create a button inside this TV, a volume button. So I will use this elliptical marquee tool, then create a circle here. Then I'll have to stroke it. For this time around, I'll still create a different layer, and I'll have to stroke it out. Then I'll use something like 5 should be okay for me. Then I click OK. Then I deselect. I'll now duplicate it. I'll duplicate it and drag down. I'll duplicate it and drag down. Then the next thing I'm gonna do now is I'll use something and cross here. So sorry for the distraction. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'll use this rectangular marquee tool and create another shape. Then I'll just stroke it. I'll stroke, right click on stroke paths. Then I add something like 2 should be okay. Then I deselect by pressing Ctrl D. Then I drag this. I drag this to here. Once I drag this to here, then I'll have to reduce the size. Then I'll rotate. Then I'll have to rotate. Then I'll look at what I'm going to do. I'll press Control. I'll hold my Control key, then click here so that I'll select this this particular object that we used. So as it is now, I click here. I click on this first layer, then I delete. Then what I'll be doing here is I'll add a stroke. Yeah, this is okay. Then I'll have to drag this one down. When I drag this one down, I'll rotate. Then once I rotate, then the next thing I'm gonna do is, please sorry for the distraction. I once told you that I'm not in a cool environment. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'll create another line here, and this time around I will make use of solid color. Then I'll create a solid color, then I'll duplicate, then I'll duplicate again, let me highlight all of them and duplicate again. a mistake. So let me highlight all of them. I'll click this one and highlight the last one. Then next thing I'm going to do is I'll hold my Alt key, then then I'll hold my Alt key. I don't know why I'm getting this, but okay, see what I'm gonna do now. Just in case if you are getting the same result, just highlight this one, click this first one, hold your shift key, click this last one to highlight it, then press Ctrl J. Once you press Ctrl J, it will automatically duplicate. Then you will have to drag down. You understand? You have to drag down. Once you drag down, the next thing you are going to do, as you can see, you are almost making a good shape of TV. Then the next thing you're going to do is bring your pen to, you come at the center here. Remember, we are making use of our grid. And you come at the center here, you click. Then you come at this edge, you click again, you drag it down. I hope you know how to make use of pen tool. Then you cut. So the next thing I'm going to do is to create a stroke, like a stroke part. Click OK, create a stroke, click enter. Then the next thing you're going to do is you come here, click a line, come at this point, click again, then you stroke, then you click enter. Then you come this side again, you click, come here, you click, then you create a stroke again. Don't forget your stroke part. Then you create a line. Then the next thing you're gonna do again is come at the top, use this elliptical marquee to drag a circle, you stroke, then you deselect by pressing Ctrl D. Then you come here, you click, then you stroke part, then you deselect, as you can see. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is to add the stand of this television. So I'll come here, then I'll use my pen tool, then I'll come to this line, I click, I click again. Just follow my steps so you will not make mistake. Then you create a layer, you stroke, I say stroke not fill, you stroke path. Then this time around you come over this place, you click, you click, you click, you click. Then as you can see, we have succeeded in making a television shape. So the next thing I'm going to do, so as you can see, I have succeeded in making a logo like television, like all these TV, WhatsApp TV, they can ask you to make a logo for them. So you can make exactly this type of thing and charge them 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira, depend on the price you bid with them. So as for me, I can come here and write, I'll use capital letter, write Tozo TV. So then I'll still be teaching you how we can make logo mockups. I've not talked about mockup. Mockup is a presentation on how your design is gonna look like in real life. You understand? So that is the meaning of mockup. So in our next class, we'll be to mockups and how mockups work and the principles of mockup, how to apply mockup. You don't just do mockup anyhow. So in the next class, we'll be talking about mockup and how to apply mockup. So thank you very much for participating in this particular class. Please hit the subscription button and ring the notification bell. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next